I'm real boy, ask your pedal. You better dash from my class of rebels, cause you know we came to blast when we smashed the metal. Brooklyn, that's how we doing it. Brooklyn, that's how we doing it. Brooklyn, that's how we doing it. Brooklyn,
that's how we doing it.
Yo, welcome to another On Everything podcast. I'm the host, Gene the Dream Brown, along with my co-host, Ella Brown, and we got some special guests today. We're going to jump right into it. We have Hollis and Latrina from Pro Players Productions, LLC. We appreciate y'all for being on today. It's so exciting, and this is going to be a dope show. I'm really excited to jump into it. How y'all doing today?
Great,
man.
Great.
Feeling awesome, Gene. Thanks for having us, brother. Thank you so very much for having us.
Excited.
Mm-hmm. Ella, what's going on? How was your week? How's everything?
The week was busy. It's all good. I'm so excited to have Pro Players Productions.
Mm-hmm.
And here, I mean, this is going to be a show. We want you all to call in 646-309-0421, and please throw your comments in the chat. Anything you have for this lady and this gentleman, Hollis and Latrina. We are so excited and so thankful that you all are here. We are going to have a great time today.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Dope. So I'm gonna jump right into it. Where are you guys initially from, Hollis and Trina? Give us your backstory. How did you guys start out in this field?
I am from Houston, Texas. I was born and raised there. That's where my family is. That's where I fell in love with theater with my high school teacher, who's now my mentor. I mean, he did so many spectacular things in theater that made me fall in love with it. Pursued further education in theater, went on to teach in Houston, and I was so in love with it that I just wanted to be in the mecca of theater in New York. Yeah. So, you know, one day, like some friends of mine, we all packed up in 2006 and was like, hey, we're going to New York. And we jumped in our cars and U-Haul trucks and we drove here. I think I had maybe about $200 in my pocket. And
I know how that is.
Stepping out on faith. Oh, man.
We quit jobs. We just stepped out on faith, and God has not failed me since I've been here. So worked in some social services when I got here, and met up with this young man in 2013. Fell in love with him. He was in love with theater. I mean, just a true theater couple love story, and went back into education to teach theater because I love it so much, and I want to instill what I love about theater into kids, so that they can also decide, you know, if they want to pursue theater, if they want to do other things in the performing arts. So here I am from Houston, Texas.
Oh man, all the way from Houston, Texas.
Go Houston!
That is awesome.
All right, yo, Gene. I am originally from Hammond, Louisiana. And
but you got a Brooklyn swagger. I ain't gonna front, but go ahead.
What? Yo, man, I've been out here for 15 years, man. So I don't know, maybe it rubbed off a little bit, but I am a country boy at heart, man. I am from Hammond, Louisiana. That's like 45 minutes north of New Orleans. I know everybody know about New Orleans, the Saints. You heard me, got that swag, that New Orleans swag. But I'm originally from there. I went to Dillard University there in New Orleans. I studied theater there at Dillard, and from Dillard University, I went to Kent State University in Kent, Ohio. And there I went to graduate school. But let me tell you about that story, bro, because it's a blessing. All right, let me rewind. When I was in graduate school, brother, my mother, and I must bring this up. I know we just had Mother's Day, but I got to talk about my mom, bro. My mom, bro, when I was in undergrad, she sold a $500 seed in church, Gene.
Wow.
And told me that she sold the seed on my behalf in reference to my educational endeavors and career. Wow. Do you know, Gene, that at the end of my undergrad career at Dillard, it was 12 theater graduates at Dillard University in New Orleans. This woman of Caucasian descent came from Kent State University to New Orleans.
Wow.
And out of 12 theater graduates, gave 5 of us full tuition waivers to come get masters in professional and fine arts there at Kent State.
Yo, that's crazy.
Wow.
You can just imagine, the competition around the University of Dillard University in that theater department, knowing that this woman was going to only select 5 of the 12.
Yeah.
Gene, I'm talking about, I was on my grind. Everybody was on that grind.
Yeah.
Out of the 12, there were 5 selected. I was one of the 5, Gene. We went up there to Kent State. They flew us up there, treated us like royalty because we were African-American students, and they were bringing us up there to diversify their program. And this is exactly what they told us, Gene. No sweeping it under the rug. We need people of color to come and be a part of our master's program. And Gene, we looked at it, we saw it for what it was. I went up there, 5 of us, brother. We went up there, and out of the 5, Gene, I was the only one to graduate out of the 5, Gene.
Come on now, look at God.
Look at God, Gene. Hold up, Gene. It gets deeper than that, Gene. Out of that 5, I was the only one that graduated. When I was in my thesis advisory meeting, writing the thesis, my thesis advisor told me, Hollis, do you know when you finish this program that you'll be the first African-American male to finish this School of Theater and Dance here at Kent State University in acting? You do know that, right? Gene, when she told me that at the time, let me tell you what was going on with me. I was writing a thesis. I had my 10-year-old son with me at the time, living with me up there by myself. I was teaching theater to undergraduate school students, being a graduate assistant, and I was in shows, learning lines all in the same floor. So when it came to me, it was like, oh, for real, Dr. Ben-Nerick? Oh, okay. I got to go get my son because that's the next thing I got to go do. It didn't even register, Dean. It didn't even register. It wasn't until the Black Lives Matter movement that one of the professors from Kent State called me and told me that I was that person, the first African-American male. I know why she did it, Gene, but the fact that she did it, and it was years later, Gene, but the fact that she did it and gave me that recognition, it hit way harder now that I've been on the grind, and it sunk in to know, hey, brother, you a special brother out here, and this is something you should be doing. You should be doing it. So I say all of that to say I finished Kent State, brother, in 2006 with the master's in acting. I moved back to Louisiana. I started working at Baton Rouge Community College, teaching theater there. My mentor, who we did the show there at Upstage in Baton Rouge, she knew somebody in New York that needed somebody to come artistic direct their theater troupe. She said, I have the perfect person in mind. He flew me up here. I started directing a theater troupe, and that's how I ended up in New York. It didn't go so well, but I had grounded myself in the school system by then and established myself out here in New York to where I can maintain, have a good job, to where I can pay my bills, along with work with Nellie King with Anaya Productions, and still maintain my theater life and do what I wanted to do in my craft, up until the point where now we have our own theater with our own company. Come on. As a power couple. So I didn't pay my dues, Gene. I didn't pay my dues, brother. So that's where I'm at. And we met, Trina and I met in a show, on stage. In a show that we were in called The Gamble of Faith. And it was an off-Broadway show there in Manhattan back in 2013. And we were in the show, and we didn't know each other at all. I didn't know she was from Houston. She didn't know I was from Louisiana. We just knew that we were 2 actors that were coming together in this professional setting. So we kept it all the way professional. So it was one day, I just, built up the nerve to, what I'm saying? She looked beautiful. Yo, Gene, I was like, excuse me, would you like to run some lines with me one day outside of rehearsal? Yo, Gene, we met up outside of rehearsal in Brooklyn. We met up, started reading lines, and the rest is history, bro. We did that show, and after that, man, we started dating, and we formed our company. Trina is the greatest writer ever. So that whole Karen and Tony, the unperfect couple, this right here, this lovely Nubian queen wrote that show to where
Wow.
we can get on stage, and I'm talking about and turn heads and get people to where they're like, yo, y'all are on to something. And here we are, brother,
Yep.
with our own theater company, and own theater. The Brooklyn
That's right.
Black Box
Black owned.
Theater.
Come
Right
on
here,
now.
brother. So that's who we are, brother. That's who we are, and that's a little bit about us, brother.
How did you come up with the name Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box Theater?
Good question, Jane. When we came up with the name Pro Players Productions, we struggled with that for a little while, and we were trying to incorporate how could we, when people say our name, know that it's something dealing with theater. And the two names that that you use when you're referring to actors are thespians or players. You can use either one of those terms. So we chose to go with players instead of thespians. We're professionals at what we do in our craft. So we definitely wanted to exhibit that. We put professionals with players, and we wanted to be a production company, a theater company, an actual production company, to where we're producing our own works, our own original works. So we put it all together, bro, and we came up with Pro Players Productions. That's where we started. So when we got the space, and I have to stop here and say, thank you, Mr. Mark. If you hear me downstairs or you hear me in the hallway, I'm talking about you, brother. My landlord, Mr. Mark and Miss Morrell, allowed Trina and I to convert this space. I called them up. They came to Karen and Tony, the Unperfect Couple, there at Oberia. And very supportive landlord, man. He came to the show, and I asked him one day, I called him up, I say, Mark, man, I want to sit down and talk to you about something. He came up to the apartment. I sat down, I had my notes, had everything laid out on how I wanted to present this vision to him. Talk to him about it. He say, brother, knowing how professional you guys were and you produce your show there at Oberia, I'm giving you all access to do what you're going to do. I know you're going to be successful at your vision. And after that, Trina and I sat down and we started coming up with a name. What can we call this space? We are in a brownstone. That's a blessing within itself, because me coming from Louisiana and knowing how different people live out here, from NYCHA to just different apartments to however, not saying this, but knowing to just be living in a brownstone. And when coming from Louisiana, when you think of brownstone, you think about the Huxtables. That's where they live.
That's what I think of.
Absolutely.
That's where they live. So knowing that it's of a prestige living, and that's how I feel. You living in a brownstone, and I really feel that way coming from Louisiana, knowing that we have this opportunity to be in a historical place, because this building that is well kept by my landlord and has been well kept and you can tell when you walk off in here, is the perfect opportunity for us to incorporate where we are. And if you notice, I don't know if you can notice in the logo, in the B, there are actual steps of the level in the brownstone, because we are on the 3rd floor of the brownstone. So you're gonna have to hike up those traditional stairs to get here. So we were sitting here, we're in a brownstone, we're in Brooklyn, and it's a black box theater, and a black box theater is a unique theater within itself. You have your regular auditorium theaters and your proscenium theaters, and then you have that special type of theater that is a professional space that's called an actual black box theater, where you are enclosed in all black experience of your life with lights, sound, and great actors like us. So this is how we come up with it, man. The Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box Theater. And it represents the name to the fullest, brother. It represents the name.
That is dope, man. Like that, and you know, like sometimes, like, because I'm an artist as well, you know, that song that comes on with the podcast, that's my rap song. So like,
you was over here jamming to that, yo,
like that.
I love it.
But you know, like, people don't understand the amount of work and detail that it takes to put into some things when we you know, apply ourselves to things, you know, like, and that, you know, that took a lot of thought and a lot of work, and you know, I'm very appreciative of that. I you know, like, I'm really excited about what you guys are doing. I just want to get into like some of the shows that you've done already. Like, tell us where you started and where you're at now. Like, let's just go from the genesis to now.
Straight up, man.
Let's see. I've done pretty much all of the August Wilson shows.
Mm-hmm.
I am a musical theater like fanatic. I love musical theater. I teach my students musical theater. They're always like, Miss Rice, not another musical. But I love musical theater. One of my greatest accomplishments while being here in New York is I did The Girls of Summer with Leon Gray. That was a nice off-Broadway gig that I did. I loved it. The women were amazing. I just felt like just so empowered to be a part of that cast. Yeah, it was a great story. I had friends from Houston to fly in just to see that show. It turned out we sold out every night. And it was just amazing. It was just simply amazing. I love Shakespeare. Shakespeare is one of my favorite playwrights.
Yeah.
When I tell people that, they're like, huh, really? Shakespeare? Seriously? But I love Shakespeare. I love Elizabethan authors. I love period pieces. I love writing pieces from the 50s. Yeah. In fact, there's a piece that I started writing in 2009. And that's got to be the next hit. It's called Black and Blue Bonnet Blues. And it focuses on domestic violence and how it took place in the 50s.
Wow.
With this one particular couple. So it's going to be one of those. I'm hoping that'll take me a little bit further. But I love writing period pieces, and acting is always going to be my baby. But sometimes, like in theater, you just want to like take a moment just to kind of like hit all of the elements of theater, like writing and directing, and and then eventually go back to what your baby is. So right now, it's producing, it's directing, it's writing. Unless something comes across my lap, like like just the acting role that I've been waiting for all my life. If that comes across, of course, I'm just gonna like jump for it.
Yes.
No doubt. Gene, I guess I have to start back as a youngster, brother. I have always been an outgoing person. I've always said to myself, I never meet strangers. I'm an outgoing person. Now, I'm not just gonna say I'm just gonna come off just trusting you like that, but at the same time too, I've always been an outgoing person. Grew up in the church doing skits in church. I've always been known for as a little boy as portraying Jesus, him carrying the cross, and I did that for years and years. Up until the point where I got this monologue, man, called The Third Man on Golgotha. And it is the story of the thief on the cross that asked Jesus to remember him in paradise. And when I started doing that at like 13, brother, it was like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody started looking, at me, as an actor. And in high school, it's funny enough, in high school, in Hammond, Louisiana, acting wasn't really big for brothers. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't have a wicked jump shot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? How big is it? But thank God that I have the mentor, Dr. Ava Brewster Turner, that when I finished high school, she had a theater it was called the 4th District Drama Group. And I would drive from Hammond, Louisiana to Baton Rouge, Louisiana every day, Monday through Friday after work, and be a part of this theater troupe. And we used to go all over the southeastern region of Louisiana, and we used to do shows with her troupe. From there, she knew somebody, and it's not always about what you know, it's about who you know.
Yes.
She knew the chair of the humanities department there at Dillard University. And this was my second time around, Gene, because I didn't mention my educational background of going to the historic Morris Brown HBCU in Atlanta. That's where I started, brother, in the ACC in 1996 with Freaknik. And I'm talking about I was in the heart of it all during that time.
Oh, wow.
I guess I did a little bit too much because I wasn't focused, and I came home with a 1.9 grade point average and had to get my mind right. But during that time, that's when, you know, that drama group and that troupe really helped me out, man, and give me direction in what I wanted to do in that navigation of my life. So I went to Dillard my second time around. I started all over because I was at Morris Brown and I was a sophomore. I was going into my junior year or my first year of first semester of the junior, but like I said, things didn't work out. Had to come home and I had to start all over there at Dillard. And I started back because I was an education major there at Morris Brown. And look how the Lord worked, Ella. Look how the Lord worked.
I know it all the time.
System. And way back when I was an education major there at Morris Brown. And look how he's been having me here 14 years of doing education and being able to maintain. But let me get back to the story. So when I was doing with the drama group and I got into Dillard, I did a lot of educational theater there at Dillard. Dr. Hyatt and Dr. Marshall, those two gentlemen, those were pillars and have been pillars in my life to teach me the craft, to teach me how to enjoy the craft, to teach me how to appreciate the craft, but most importantly, how to respect the craft. We did all kind of theater competitions. I've been to Irene Ryan competitions, NATSA. They really opened the door for us actors there at Dillard University. We were like one of the top African-American schools during that time for theater. And we traveled and toured shows. So that educational foundation right there really gave me the foundation and the background that I need to move forward. So by the time I got to Kent State and went from doing Black shows about Black people for Black people, and then I moved into a whole nother realm of doing white shows and getting in where I fit in, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
But let me tell you about that, Gene. I've heard a statement that there are no small parts, only small actors. And I've never looked at myself as a small actor. I've always looked at myself as one of those big actors that if you run across me, you're always going to get quality work and a great performance. So it didn't matter whether or not I was playing a car lot attendant or a server or a whatever it was. I did it to the best of my ability. And I tell you what, when I did it, I got the recognition that I deserved because I played those parts to the best of my ability and I stood out in those shows. I did something or I said something to make my character recognizable. So all of the people that may not have looked at me as not being the main character, they did notice me being on stage because my stage presence and how I took my character and brought it to life and made that character stand out. And however many lines I had, they remembered me. So when I got to Kent, man, and I learned about Shakespeare and all of the other technical aspects of theater that I may not have learned at Dillard, they just filled that void of the things that I didn't know, and coming from a different perspective, if you know what I mean, from the musical theater and all of the Shakespearean plays and dynamic pentameter and all of the different things that we learned.
Dynamic pentameter.
In graduate school that we may not have necessarily learned in undergrad. So it brought me together full circle, brother. So after I finished graduate school, I came.
Hollis, you know I'm gonna have to jump in here and ask you a question. Go on graduate school.
I'm about to wrap it up. So when I moved to New York, I had the mind, I had the heart, and I had the drive to come out here and get on the grind. I knew I had to come out here and pay my dues And Gene, you know, I've been paying my dues with Nelly for years and years, from acting in her shows to directing her shows to being a part of her shows, however I can do. And along with this other brother in Harlem by the name of Anthony Canty, who has this company, and I've done a lot of shows with him up there. And I thank that brother for, you know what I'm saying, looking out for me and allowing me to get on stage. But between those two companies, brother, and me paying my dues and me sticking with it, again, here I am with my own company, with my own space, ready to do my thing and shake the world.
Come on now. Yes.
Shake the world and
It's
shut
already
it down.
starting to shake, man. I already see it.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm sorry, Ella. I was talking so long. I'm sorry.
The first
You good?
time,
No, because the audience is loving it. So we got a comment from Terry Clark, very interesting. So I don't know which part, because everything you said is interesting, and just the plight of what it took for you to get there, to stay on your grind. And even though you've reached this level, we know that that's not the end. So I think that's encouraging for our audience, no matter what they're doing, no matter what they think their passion or calling is, to stay with it, do it to the best of your ability. But one thing I want to ask is, while you all are doing theater, because I know we're going to talk about that in whatever upcoming shows you have, you also do other things. What other things does the Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box Theater offer other than theater? Because I know you do workshops. What else do you do?
We do. Right now, we're currently, we just started our children's workshop of 14 students
Nice.
for our school. Yeah, so we're teaching them the basics of acting, theater, coming out of their shyness for those that are shy, just trying to make their stage presence solid and building that foundation. We're also renting out. We've rented out our theater to those that needed to film videos. Someone recently did a rap video. We had a beautiful, fabulous belly dancer, Jada, who also rented out the space and record. I mean, it was beautiful. beautiful. But we're also we're doing our black box theater projects at the theater, but our larger productions like Black and Blue Blinded Blues, because it's such a large cast, eventually when other theaters open, we'll need to get a bigger space because the cast is bigger than like a regular black box theater. We're also, before the pandemic, we were going to travel pro players to Houston do Karen and Tony there, but right before we were in preparation for that, but you know, everything shut down, so that's on hold. So we're not only managing the black box theater, we're also still taking our bigger shows to other venues that will hold like a bigger audience and a bigger cast, and we're also traveling, making plans to travel and pick back up where we started off with our traveling shows. So we're moving about teaching our students. This is our first workshop. We have another workshop session that's starting in June, and that's going to be with another group of kids. Right now, they're learning a production of a Brooklyn chorus line. Again, I'm a musical theater.
Awesome.
And they're learning that, and so they perform next week for their parents. They'll have their certificates. We've done headshots for them.
Nice.
Yeah, they're and they get the one of the t-shirts. Also. So it's gonna be a really exciting experience.
When is that next? Because you said I don't know when the next one is. How, if people want to get their children involved or just want to check out your theater, how can they get in touch with you guys?
Well, you can email us at proplayerspoductions@gmail.com. That's pro players with an S, players with an S, and productions with an S @gmail.com. proplayerspoductions@gmail.com. And you can email us, let us know that you're interested, and we will definitely get in touch with you and correspond with you on how you can get your children involved into the workshop. The workshop, our next session starts June 5th. So you have a couple of weeks to get, to make the decision on whether or not you want to come and be a part of this amazing workshop. So please, please, please reach out to us. Again, that's Pro Players Productions. Players with an S, Productions with an S.
Oh, Productions with the S. So we'll get that fixed. So Productions with the S. S. Also, excuse me. You all are on social media?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We are on social media. We are on
Pro Player IG. We're on Instagram as Pro Player Productions. Pro Player Productions, that's Players with an S, and Productions with an S. Pro Players Productions, that's on Facebook as well as Instagram. So look us up, find out what's going on, find out when the next upcoming show is coming. Speaking of upcoming events, I know Trina talked about the upcoming workshop that's going to happen June 5th through the second week of July, that's coming up. But after that, Gene, I've been putting my pencil to pad, and like Trina say, when you're in the theater, not only do you want to act and direct and produce, I've been doing all of these different things, and I've come to that point in my life to say, okay, brother, you are strong at taking words and making them come to life.
Come on
now. It's your time to create characters so other people can bring them to life. If you want to bring them to life, you get on that stage and you do one of those characters. But now, ultimately, it's time for you to start writing, Hollis. And Gene, when I tell you that I've written this piece called Subway Insanity that is going to drop in the Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box in the fall, that is going to shake Brooklyn up. And the basis behind this this play is basically set in a subway train car, and you have the different characters that you see that come on the train. Everybody from the corporate man that needs the train to get to work, the corporate woman that may look down on the train after she done moved herself up to get her BMW, to the homeless man that we may not know his story, and we look at him like, ugh, to the young man that get on the train and start dancing and put his hat down and looking for a little donation, to the girl that come on the train talking all loud, yeah, girl, like I was saying, you are thinking that she's the only one on the train. So, Gene, this play right here, brother, Subway Insanity, that's gonna drop in the fall. For anybody that's listening right now, I encourage you to please come out and see this show, because it is going to be one to remember, brother.
I'm coming to see it. Those are real life characters. Those are real. I love that connection, that real world connection. That's exactly what we see in the real world.
It's awesome.
I want to know where we could audition at. Like, what's up, man? Like,
Gene, I tell you what, brother.
Send your headshots.
Send your headshots and
Pro
resumes.
Players Productions.
Pro Players Productions. And we will definitely reach out. We are definitely going to put information and things of that nature, Gene, for the upcoming shows, how people can apply for auditions and find out about auditions and how they can come and be a part of the Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box to actually be a part of the show. So, brother, definitely.
We coming. On everything gonna be right there in production. All right.
That's on everything.
Definitely.
Yeah, we also have the wine and water improvisation show coming up. So that's gonna be a lot of fun, because
Tell me about that, because I feel like I saw something on the website about that.
Yes, you did. It is a wine and water improvisation show. Improv is improv, and I'm afraid of improv. But Hollis is so good at it. He is so good at it. But, you know, being a theater person, you have to be able to do it. And so there's going to be a lot of audience participation with a few scenes in there that we've just kind of like prepared, but a lot of audience participation. So if you are going to come, you're going to have to act. You're going to have to talk. You're going to have to
I'm ready.
Be a part of it, because we're going to seek or elicit the help of our audience for this improvisational show. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
You know,
it's so much fun.
You know, one of the reasons that we chose to go in the direction. Now we know we could have just put on a full-fledged play where we got in here and learned these lines and just got on the grind to where we can produce a show with characters to take you through a beginning, middle, and end of these characters. We know we could have done that, but we chose to go the improvisation route when we open up the theater, when people come in here the first time, to give that level of comfort, like, like we were a part of that experience. Not just an audience member that went to see the show, but we were a part of the show, and we feel comfortable to come back because, hey, we went off in there and we did a little thing. We did our thing off in there. Now we can feel comfortable at coming back and seeing a show because we know that we graced that stage as well to have fun with Hollis and Latrina. So we definitely wanted to break the ice with the audience. And let me tell you something, Gene. One of the things that's going to separate our theater from a lot of theaters is when you come to the Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box, not only will you be able to enjoy quality, good professional theater, but you'll also be able to kick back with your glass of wine and enjoy the show at the same time. Okay, let me say that again. In the Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box, you can sit back with your glass of wine.
I'm on my way.
And enjoy the show at the same time. So, hey, we're trying to do, little differences, man, and bring that comfort and that cozy and intimate, nice environment so people would want to come back and say, you know what, that's the spot. We want to come back because we feel comfortable. We love the atmosphere. We love the environment, and it's a place that we want to be. So that's the direction we chose to go with. Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, we up against it. We gotta take a real quick break. We'll be right back with you, Hollis and Trina. We appreciate y'all for being here. Y'all gonna stay for the next part, right?
No doubt, brother. We here.
All right, that's what's up. All right, we'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back.
Shows and do not know where to start? The Evening Rush Network can help you with that. Call us at 929-441-2417 or email us at theeveningrushnetwork@gmail.com for dates and prices. We got you for all your podcast needs. The Evening Rush Network. Tune in, subscribe, and share.
All right, and we're back. Thank y'all so much for being here. We're here with Hollis and Trina from Pro Player Productions and Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box Theater. We're back to it. Okay. Ella, did you have any more questions for them?
Yeah, I just want to know. I have a lot of questions, but I just want to know, with everything that you're doing, I love the wine. I really am big on originality. So I love that you can come there in the wine, and anything that businesses do that are out of the norm that you don't expect, to me, not only for the marketing and driving and retaining your clients or your customers or people who want to see the show, I think that's everything. So I think the wine is good, and I'm looking forward to all those unique, because you all are so unique anyway in everything that you do. So I know that's coming. I want to say, Latrina and Hollis, so it seems like this is like your calling, your passion, your gift. Where do you all see yourselves in the Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box Theater 5 years from now? And what is it that you're really trying? Are you going to expand? Are you going to keep it? You know how some things we know are staples, right? So some people might keep it Brooklyn Black and leave it just the way it is. And then people come from all over years and years later just to see it in its original form. Or are you going to expand? And do you feel like you're going to have to expand because it's going to be so large? What is the vision 5 years from now?
Babe, what you going to say?
Well, I was going to say that I feel like Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box Theater, I know that we're going to have to expand, but I feel like this will be the place that we will just always come back to for our smaller shows. For the bigger shows, we were even talking about one day just being blessed to just have a bigger space for our own space. And just being able to do our shows in our own space at some point. Still being Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box Theater and still having this space also.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Trina's saying, we know with everything that we have in store to present to the world, we're gonna have to expand. People are going to be amazed with the things that we're doing in this space of 21 by 11, people are going to be amazed and they are going to want to come back. So we're definitely going to want to expand, eventually get our own space, which could be blessed to be a bigger space to where we could invite more people and have bigger audiences. Because right now, if Gene and Ella, if we have to do 5 shows and take up a month so people can feel comfortable, and we can only have 15 in here at a time, but we doing the show for a whole month. So if you didn't see it at the beginning of the month, you can see it at the end of the month because they still running. We're going to do what we have to do.
That's
but eventually we want to expand to a bigger space, and we're claiming that. We've already claimed that somebody is going to come in this space and say, hey man, we got this space or this building that we know that you guys can rent or would be a perfect space for you to expand what you're doing and even go bigger with what you're doing. So it's just a matter of time for that. But we definitely want to give the people of the community this space to let them know that this is here. And we want to expand it and go somewhere else and be bigger. But this is always going to be here. As long as I'm paying rent in here, we're gonna be in here. And as long as we have the great neighbors that we have that are looking at us like y'all are doing y'all thing, and we wish y'all all the blessings in the world, we're gonna keep that Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box going. But eventually we are going to have to expand and get a bigger space to where we can seat at least 500 or 1,000 or more, to where they want to come to the Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box in that bigger venue to see the great works that we're going to produce.
We want this name to be a household name.
A household name.
We want it to be. Have you been to Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box Theater?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Even the name sounds like that. The name already has that ring to it.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who, okay, I'm loving this show, I'm loving everything, I'm going to check them out, and they may want to act, right? Or they may have an interest. And some things I found, Gene's done acting, I've done some acting. Some things I found is that people are they really want to do it, but they have problems getting into character and making it believable. You know how if somebody, say for instance, is a very nice person, nice heart, and say they have to play an evil character, what do you say to those people who have problems? Like, I know I can do it, but it's not coming across right because my personality. How do I get in this whole character and remove myself from it so that I can now deliver to the audience what I want to deliver?
Hey, would you like to take that? Was a great question.
Yeah, that really was.
You want? Okay, cool.
That was awesome.
That was a great question. That's one of the questions that, you know what I'm saying, if you're trying to find out, like, let's cut to the chase. How do I develop the character? That's a great question. I've always, when I've taught my students, I always start here first. There are 3 tools of an actor that you have, whether you know it or not. And those 3 tools of an actor are your body, your voice, and your emotions. Okay. You start with those. You recognize how much your body can portray. Then you go to your voice, and how much can your voice portray?
I feel like I'm doing it with Haas. Okay.
And then you take that last element of emotion, and when you put all 3 of those together, when you put all of those tools together and you're focusing on that one goal, whether it be angry or sad or happy, when you put your body in the mode of being happy or vibrant or sad and gloomy or whatever the case may be, you start with one tool, you go to the next tool, and you hone in on that one to put that one on the same page as the first tool, and you bring that emotion home and you put it all together. And you can start developing that character at your pace at working with those 3 tools of an actor. So Ella, usually when I go and go to headed on like that with the 3 tools of an actor, it usually is easier for my students to break those tools down to the point where they can work all 3 of those to the point where they can get to the development of their character.
Okay. And so they just got to make sure too. I know that people coming into acting, it's that fear and just making them be comfortable so that they can try to start getting into character, because it's usually that's all that's holding you back, and it's not even anybody sees what you see. I think we're just so self-critical and nervous ourselves that we think, oh, am I doing this right? But if they just let themselves go and just get into it, I think that would be beneficial. I do want to say, because we've missed it a couple times, I definitely have to get a shout out to our sponsor, Sayings by Butter Clothing. We love you, Sayings by Butter Clothing. Yes. Please give our shout out. We want to support all Black businesses, so definitely got to support our sponsor. So I love that, and I love the improv, because the improv, you can, it's basically you, right? Like you give a topic, and then it's like you coming out, you have the autonomy to do whatever you want to do versus scripted and stuff like that. And do you feel like when you're working with other people, do you feel like improv can help bring them out before you give them something with lines, or do you just give them something with lines and then let them go?
Let me say this, right? Yeah. Well, I remember when I had the great experience of working with Hollis and Trina. And I remember, Trina, I remember you taking us over to the side and doing the improv exercise with us. And that was probably one of the first times I was actually comfortable actually doing some sort of acting in front of people. Wow. Because before that, I had been nervous every time. I think every time that I tried to play my role, afterward, I would get a complaint. Oh, you're not a junkie enough. Oh, you're not this enough. Oh, you're not doing this enough. But after that little exercise, because it just got me comfortable enough to be myself, then I realized, hey, you know what? I can be myself and be myself as a junkie. Okay,
let me ask you this, Gene. What did Latrina do? Okay, so Latrina, so what type of things did you do with Gene? Tell me something that you would do, to get him ready before he did that. What improv over in the corner?
Well, one of the things that Gene just said just completely was exercise. Theater exercises and theater warm-ups are so essential to theater. It helps people to come out of that fear, that stage fright, and that shyness. I always promote working as an ensemble with my students, or just working together, so we can all see our flaws. We can all say it the wrong way or a different way or whatever. We can all mess up in front of each other. When you're able to mess up in front of each other, you feel, a little more comfortable. When you're able to be put on the spot in front of your friends, and you don't know what to say, you have to really think, really quickly to say something. We all get a laugh at it, so, it just kind of breaks down that wall, and it helps you to feel comfortable. I'm not like Hollis is. I used to be terrified of improv because it's you improv with warm-ups and exercises, no problems, but to do an actual improv show, that's one of the toughest things to do, because you're grabbing ideas from the audience and you're like, okay, you got to go with it, So with Gene, we was just doing improv just off the top. It makes you think, it makes you focus. I always talk about focus and concentrating in my theater classes. So it makes you focus, it makes you think, all eyes are on you, but at the same time, we're all having fun with it.
One of the things that I'm going to definitely express to the audience members before we get into the full-fledged of the theater activities of the show is one of the things that when we laugh and we're having a good time, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you. And I want everybody to laugh with each other. Because I may have the mic in my hand and I'm liable to be like, and I want you to laugh with me too in that moment, because Gene and Ella, it's been so long since we've gotten together and laughed together and had a good time.
I know.
And I'm serious. At this point, if I mess up a line, slip on a banana peel, bust my butt or whatever, if people can come together and laugh together and do it together at the same time, that would be more than enough for me. So that is one of our main goals. And we know with improv, at any moment something can happen. You could be like, I know that, and just have the greatest time ever. So we're going in it full-fledged, man, and we're gonna have the greatest time ever with making people feel comfortable, with telling them that, you know, we're not here to laugh at you if you mess up, so don't worry about it. We're here to laugh with you. So enjoy yourself, let loose, let the wine take over, and have a good time with us, because that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do.
That is so dope. That is so dope. We have a question from one of the people that's watching. They said, how do you select people who join in on your shows?
Well, usually the process would be to submit your resume or clip of yourself and a headshot, just to talk with you and have you to just come out and audition with us. I mean, right now, because we're just starting off, we are looking for people to volunteer. You just ran into someone the other day who just like, what, a theater is opening? I just want to volunteer. And, you know, right now after this pandemic, people are looking to do that. So, you know, it's just a matter of getting to know who you are. Contact us. We talk to you. If you want to audition for a show, you submit your resume, headshot, and we go from there. If you want to help with the theater, we go from there. So we
like even the production.
Yeah, exactly. We don't turn people away, you know. So reach out to us. Reach out to us. Pro Players Productions at Gmail.
Hey, Gene. It's funny, brother, because I met you through working with Nelly. And I don't know if she's watching the podcast or whatever.
I hope she is, yeah.
The Lord works in mysterious ways, because she just tried to call me. Yes, I didn't want to interrupt, but she just called me.
And are you watching, Nelly?
Trina, we went over to Nelly. We went over a few weeks ago just to check on her, to make sure that she was good after, you know what I'm saying, after her surgery and whatever, you know what I'm saying, to let her know that we're doing good. But she just called a minute ago. So I don't know what that's all about. But thank you, Nelly. You know what I'm saying?
We all appreciate Nelly.
And it's just funny how that works out.
Big shout out to Nelly, because she was one of our, I mean, if not, like at some point, our biggest supporter.
Yes.
Like she really bent over backwards for us, big time.
Still is.
You know, that was the first place I seen you guys. Like, I think it was the first play, or the one that you guys did in Brooklyn. I actually was there in the audience. I watched the play, and I'm like, and the next time I seen her, I believe I was just picking some stuff up from her house, and she was like, "Hey, you know what? You would fit real good in my play." And I'm just like, me, you know, Nelly is awesome, man. And you know, she talks so glowingly about you guys, you know, like she's really excited about everything that y'all doing. Just so you know, like anytime I talk to her, she's like, yeah, you see what Hollis and Trina is doing? She's really excited.
She's always looking out.
Definitely.
Yeah, so another thing I want to get into is tell us just a little bit about the shows that you have coming up, and do you have any dates set yet?
Well, the Wine and Water improvisation show, that is definitely set in stone, and we open next weekend, not this weekend coming, but the following weekend, May the 22nd. Okay. And that's going to be our opening night. Now, the following weekend,
May the 22nd, everybody, I need you to mark your calendars right now. Sorry, Hollis, you know I got to jump in there because Hollis will go. May 22nd, the Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box Theater and Pro Players Productions. So May 22nd, mark your calendars. We want to see you all there.
So, you know, another thing is that I'm going to let you know, like, you know, we always work as a team. I worked with you guys before. So I'm definitely going to be pumping this up and advertising as much as I can. You know, like I'm excited about you guys' work. And we really appreciate you guys for coming on. So after that, like after May 22nd, what's the next dates as far as activities wise?
I was going to say, Gene, after that opening night, we are going to run this Wine and Water improvisation show every Saturday night in June, in the month of June.
Every Saturday.
Perfect.
Every Saturday at 7 o'clock.
I'll be there every Saturday.
You better come on in here, Ella. You better come on in here. And we got a seat right here for you too, Ella.
Okay, now I'm telling you. Just put she is Ella on there. Just put she is Ella
She is
Brown.
Ella. Don't nobody says that. You see who that seat is from. Yes,
I love it.
no doubt. So
But
we're gonna
yeah,
run. We're gonna every
Saturday.
Saturday in June, and then
Okay.
after that, at the same time, we're gonna be in the midst of running our second session of the workshop. So while we're running the Wine and Water improvisation show in the evenings on Saturday, we're going to be running the second session of the workshop in the morning. So we're going to be really, really busy.
Yes.
So whenever we finish that Wine and Water improvisation show and the workshop, we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back for the fall, and then that's when we're going to drop Subway Insanity.
Yeah.
Subway
I want to
Insanity.
see that Subway Insanity.
Oh, Ella, I don't know if you're ready, Ella, because
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm so excited. I don't even know what to do. I want to see that. Because that is real life Subway. It's the same people I see on the Subway out here. Yes.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's
gonna be awesome. Yeah.
That sounds that's definitely dope. You know, like I said, I'm signing up for the auditions. I want to be on every. Listen, the name of this podcast is on everything. I'm on everything. I'm gonna be there, you know, for the whole thing. Man, this is like so dope, man. I'm super excited for you guys. Go ahead.
What do you do after you have a show? And okay, everybody's clapping. Great. You got the, people who love the show. What about the people who did not like the show? Have you ever had that? And if they have, just say they have constructive feedback. Have they ever brought any constructive feedback to you? And if so, how do you handle that? And then how do you handle that with not being, I know you are a professional, so I know you don't do this anyway, but not feeling like, okay, attacked, so that you can go on and do your show like it's nothing. Like, how do you handle constructive criticism?
Well, you know what? We haven't yet, but we know being in theater, it exists. And we've been in it for several years, so we understand that people have their opinions. There's going to be some criticism. That's just inevitable. But what we do is we would take that and use that to grow. Just take it, be respectful of it, and use it to grow. Appreciate, them using their voice to express themselves pretty much, not everybody likes musical theater. I do, I've been in shows where, people walk down and they're like, that was horrible. And me, I'm like, that was just amazing.
Yeah.
So people like different things. And we honestly respect that. I don't think we would take it any kind of way. With the understanding that people have their own opinions and people are going to express things the way that they that they want to express it. So it wouldn't be any hard feelings for us.
Yeah.
And do you take insight from it? Like, what if they say something like, it's like, well, you know what? That made a lot of sense. Maybe we'll incorporate that, or maybe there's a way that might be a good idea.
Yeah, that would, I think that, we would take that, take that as insight for us to grow, for us to think about using that in the next production or using that in the next date that we perform. So I don't think we would reject it. I think that we would just take it all in. Take it all in.
Ella, every time I go into a show or developing a character or knowing that I'm about to be on stage, knowing that there may be critics in the audience of whatever you bring to the stage, what I say to myself is, no matter how much praise you get or how much constructive criticism you get, make sure you give the people the most professional performance you can possibly give. Every single show. Every single time. So if that criticism is going to be the most, your show was, I just want to tell you about this. It's just letting me know that they were watching me and watching my performance to the point where they can give me this feedback on my character and what I was doing. And it's on me whether or not I want to take that constructive criticism, use it, or just look at it, just say, you know what, that was from that audience member's lens. And I can respect that from their lens and keep it moving, but still give that same professional show that I'm going to give.
And the people who criticize, a lot of times they come back.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I told them this, but you know what? I'm going. They might do something. They doing something I'm interested in, so I think I might go. And then they are your best friend and have become an asset.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's true. It's
So,
true.
Yeah. Just go in it, giving
Yeah.
it the best, giving it your best.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hollis and Latrina, we appreciate y'all so much for being on the show. We thank y'all so much. Pro Player Productions, Brooklyn Black Box Theater, Brooklyn Brownstone Black Box
Brooklyn
Theater.
Brownstone Black Box Theater.
Yes.
In the words of Jesus Christ, no man put his hands to the plow looking backwards is fit for the kingdom of God. So we must go forward. Amen. So we thank y'all so much for pushing it forward, and we appreciate y'all. And like I said, we're going to pump y'all up. We here with it, on everything, and that's on everything for the day. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much, Gene. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Good to see you guys here.
Yes, we got here Pro Player Productions.